Hi, my name is Kara Sayers, and this is my summary video for my final Building Leadership Practicum. I am going to hopefully be finishing my master's upon completion of this video and my discussion with my advisors at Fort Hays State. So right now I'm just going to kind of talk through the portfolio and my experiences within the program. So I have been teaching high school biology and physiology in Centennial, Colorado. I teach at Arapahoe High School, and I've taught there for the past 15 years. For 9 of those years, I was also the head varsity volleyball coach. Just this past year, I stepped down from coaching so that my 3 children could play sports of their own, but also so that I could pursue my master's, which I never got early in my career. So I think the place for me to start is maybe more of my reflection. So I'm going to click on that and just sort of talk through that a little bit, and then I can kind of go through the other parts of the portfolio as well. So I guess part of the reflection, the first thing that honestly they asked me to think about was just what prejudgments I had. And so to be honest, when I started this program, I really felt like my master's was just another hoop that I needed to jump through, and that, you know, just because I had this title, I could make more money, but really I maybe wasn't necessarily going to learn a whole lot of new information, and my time would be better used, you know, working with my colleagues and my teammates on lesson plans that would actually be impactful in the classroom. So that's kind of the mindset that I went into, and so my original application for the program at Fort Hays was for instructional technology. But I took my first 2 classes last summer were school of law and educational research, and I guess 2 sort of things happened. School law, through that class, it just really made me think differently. In December of 2013, we had a shooting at our school. A senior boy came into our building and intended to do a lot of harm, but because people acted quickly and we got in lockdown very quickly, he unfortunately killed 1 senior girl and then ended his own life in our library. But just my experience with that school violence really changed the way I thought about everything. So as we went through school law, it just was fascinating to me how it really made me, it just put school safety at the forefront of everything I thought about. And so just even through that one class and how much it impacted my thinking with the shooting, I decided to actually reapply for the program and switch over to school administration. I think just because it kind of gave me I just learned that about myself, that school leadership and my experience both with 15 years of teaching and with this school shooting kind of gave me some valuable insights, and that might be an opportunity I'd like to pursue in the future. So I switched over to administration, and the rest is history. So I guess the things that I really loved the most about the program, and I'm going to scroll down just so I can kind of, you know, talk through what I wrote, but I wrote that there were sort of 4 main things that really stood out to me as I went through this program. And so just first and foremost, I had no idea that there were even standards for administrators prior to this master's program. It made me really happy to see that there were standards, because as teachers we're always held accountable with state testing and state standards and evaluations, and I think that's important. It gets overwhelming and kind of a lot of work sometimes, but it's so important, I guess, that we all are being held accountable and that kids are getting a fair and great education no matter where they live or you know, what school they attend. So it made me even happier to know that there were also standards for administrators. I loved also that those standards have been updated, like they're not archaic and they're modern, and they talk about technology and that sort of thing. So that was one of the first things through this process that really just I loved and was interesting to me. The second thing that I really took away, I guess, from this whole program, and just especially as I reflected back on all of the coursework, was just the case studies. We probably did 20 of them over the course of the program, and I knocked the program out in 14 months, so I did a lot of case studies in a short amount of time. But I guess what I really learned about myself was just how I prioritize things. So what, you know, whenever there was an issue that arose in those case studies, who was my first priority? And again, going back to the shooting, students just always stood out as number 1. So if ever there was a student involved, especially being a high school teacher, they were just always the first person that I went to. From there, it was my staff. And then outside of that, I would move into the parents and the community and that sort of thing. But the case studies really helped me kind of sort through what I thought was really important. In addition, with the case studies, it just really reiterated to me that as a building leader, nothing's ever going to be black and white. There's always going to be multiple sides to every story. And so just as an effective leader, I'm really going to have to kind of get as many sides of every story as I can, and then just do my best to make a fair and a decision with integrity, and hope for hope that I've done my work and it will sort itself out. The third thing I talked about was just I guess the variety of coursework, and along with the practicum, kind of the shadowing hours that I did. I, for 15 years, have been in a biology classroom, so my world is kind of small and narrow. I teach 2 subjects, and I've had the same group of age kids for that long, and so just all of the variety of coursework that we took really kind of just reopened my eyes and reminded me that there are just so many pieces to the puzzle of a district and a school. Everything from finance to community relations to even just writing a research paper that I hadn't written in years for college. So it just really reminded me of what a amazing, complex machine a school district is. For my practicum hours, I was able to shadow our district specialist for the ELA program. She is a friend, but she was a former elementary school principal, and upon leaving her school, she's become the district ELA specialist. And so I spent several days with her this summer. She walked me through everything she does, from her budget, which, because she's ELA, she has parts of it from the district, parts of it from Title III, and parts of it from grants that she's applied for through the state. So it's a really complex balance she has to keep. She walked me through how students in our district are identified, and then not only that, but progress through the program and out of the program. And she just really, reminded me of how much diversity there is, even though I don't often see it in my class. With high school kids, by the time I see them, a lot of them have worked through any language issues they might have had, so I don't get a lot of that. But she just reminded me of how much diversity there is. So that was a really valuable experience for both district level and elementary school, things that I was able to gain. And then I guess kind of one of the most important things, too, that I gained out of this whole thing was just how important technology is, and how it needs to just completely reshape the way we think in education. And I've been a proponent of this prior to this program, but it just hit home so many times. I said my favorite 2 classes were kind of the curriculum and instruction class and the utilization of technology. I took one this spring and one just this past summer, but just learning so many things through Google, and again, we're a Google school, so I was comfortable with a lot of them, but not just throwing technology into what we already do to be a fancy new toy, but to really have it reshape how school looks for our kids, because they live in such a different world than we do. And they love phones because they get choice and it's theirs, and it's really challenged me to think about how I could make my classroom going into this fall look a lot more like the world outside of the classroom. So I loved all of that technology, and I think as a building leader someday also that will be a great thing to push. So I guess my final reflection with this, and then I can kind of quickly go through a lot of the other things, but just both now in the classroom, my whole thought process from thinking I wasn't going to learn anything going into this program to being re-energized and re-excited about what kind of technology I can bring immediately into my classroom here in a few weeks. But not only that, but should and when I decide to go into administration in a few years, kind of how I feel passionate about some things, about school safety and making students a top priority, and providing resources and trust and opportunities for my staff to take those risks and try new things with technology, because that's what I would love as a teacher, and what I feel that I have already. So this program overall was just a great experience. It was a ton of work, and in 14 months it was a whole lot of things to pack into one, but it really, again, left me energized both for the present, for my classroom now, and then for the future as when I choose to hopefully become a building leader someday. So that, I think, is kind of an overall summary of what I've done. If you look through the activities, of course, being a high school teacher, it was much easier for me to get my secondary experiences done, between building leadership opportunities they've already had as a mentor, as a PLC facilitator, as a head volleyball coach. And then I did put some of the assignments that we did through these classes. So it was much easier for me to get the high school activities. District level, again, the bulk of these came from my time I spent with the head district ELA specialist this summer, and then again, I put some of the assignments we did through community relations class that really helped me learn a lot about the district that I teach in and live in. Through the educational finance class, we had to do a district and system analysis, so I learned a lot about our district through that. So those are some of the opportunities I had. And then elementary, I was able to attend a math conference this summer that all the elementary schools teachers were going to for new curriculum, and I just kind of shadowed for a day and learned a little bit about that. I also was able to meet with the district elementary writing specialist, and she is working on writing progressions. That's right up here. And all of these are hyperlinked, so you can click on the documents to see a little bit more detail. But she actually, it was a great opportunity. She wanted my non-elementary science brain to look at these writing progressions and see what I thought about them. So that was kind of a cool experience for both of us. She said she really valued my input, and it was neat for me just, again, to get a peek into another world that I'm not often exposed to. So, my log of all of those hours is posted here. I will tell you, and we can talk about this in the Google Hangout, but I did enter 4 or 5 more events that did not get posted, and I don't know if it was because we passed the July deadline, but I do have records of those. So there are some more hours that are not showing here that are posted. They just aren't coming up on the Google form. So I think the place for me to sort of end and finish up with the last few minutes would just be what I came to kind of write as my philosophy of leadership. And I'm not gonna lie, my dad is an educator. He was a principal, started out as an English teacher, and was a long time high school and middle school principal, and he sort of helped me come up with this because obviously after 30 plus years of experience, he's got some wisdom. And so through talking with him and our discussions, I kind of felt like the best way to summarize, after everything that I've learned through coaching, and believe me, with 9 years of varsity volleyball coaching, I learned a lot about good leadership and some bad experience as well, with issues with parents and players. So just through all of those experiences, plus everything I've learned through this program, I think the best way to summarize my philosophy of leadership would just be that when I'm in charge of anything, students in my class, players in my program, or eventually staff in a building, my expectation will be that I'll have high expectations, but I'll also provide high support. So high demand, high support. And that means that, I will expect you to do your best and to be excellent. So as a classroom teacher, you are pushing the limits. You're coming up with new lessons. You're doing what's best for kids. As a volleyball player, you are, pushing yourself athletically, working to improve. As a student, you're working to improve and be the best biology student that you can. But along the way, I will do whatever it takes to provide you with the support you need, and that will look different for every kid or every teacher. Some teachers might need very little support because they just get it and push themselves automatically. Others might need some encouragement, and that might mean me researching and providing options for resources. It might be providing professional development time, so there's the opportunity to pursue those things. Or it just might even be building relationships and trust so that they feel confident enough to take those risks. So I guess in a big, giant umbrella summary of everything I've learned, that's exactly how I hope to lead a building someday, that I will have high expectations for whoever I'm leading, but through technology and, my interactions with people and everything I do, I will provide the support that those people need to hopefully make those expectations a reality. So I guess that's it. We will chat more when we have our Google Hangout. I hope that gives you just a glimpse into my experiences with this administration program. I did, like I said, learn a ton, and I'm excited to take it immediately back into the classroom and see where it takes me in the future. Thanks.